You're almost live, setting up your meeting for YouTube.
It's going, it's going, it's going. It's done. Redirecting to YouTube.
Stand by for your live.
And we're live. There we go. All right.
Almost live, setting up your meeting.
It's going. Oh, there's a little lag there, isn't there?
Hi, Guy.
Bye for your live.
Okay, now we're good and we won't notice the lag. So Guy McPherson here with senior management, Pauline, and more importantly on the screen, James Nguyen, we're going to have a conversation today about a film that he just put out called Climate Fix. And Pauline and I watched the film earlier today. It's 18.5 minutes long and it's beautifully done. So let us start the conversation, James.
Yes, yeah, thanks for inviting me to the nature of Bats Last. I'm excited about this.
Of course. So we of course just announced this live stream on YouTube a few minutes ago, so it could be that nobody will show up. Anyway, whether they do or not, I want to thank you for taking the time and spending the money to come out here to our home and shoot the film. And
Yes.
And you did that to coincide with the presentation I was delivering here in town as well. So that was good timing.
Yeah, I had a great time. First time in Vermont. It's beautiful, and really appreciate your hospitality. Staying at your place, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's kind of place that I wouldn't mind, retiring, someday like that.
It's not Hollywood.
Yes. Yeah. Your paradise, your castle.
Yeah, it's a very nice place. Yeah. So I've greatly enjoyed the film. I think you did a wonderful job. You got across the important messages in only 18.5 minutes, which is very impressive.
Thank you. I mean, that's just my style. I'm kind of like a big picture visually, but also verbally. Get down to the point.
Right.
Instead of the kind of like the minute detail that really a lot of times don't matter. I mean, we have a problem, like you mentioned many times in your nature atlas. We have a cancer. It's called global warming, climate change, and
Right.
we gotta fix it as soon as possible.
And I think at this point, most people understand that we have a serious problem, that we're in the midst of a climate emergency. So you didn't need to rehash that point in the film, because the typical viewer today knows, they understand that things are not the way they were when we were children.
Yes, and you might be right, the Guy, but I tell you, you'd be surprised that there are a lot of climate denier. Well, they might think it's there, they see it, they feel it, but it's kind of like psychologically, it's denial. I mean, we still can breathe, we still can go to work, the civilization is still there. The smoke is coming down from Canada, from the wildfire and the other stuff. You see, you and I, we're in it. Okay, it's the subject that's most important to us, but to an average person, there was a poll now. They're still denying. They not even aware that's happening. Especially in countries like I'm here in Vietnam and other country where it's not communicated very clearly. It's kind of like bad weather. So we have to. So I decided I have to communicate it clearly. And then I came across climate denier, even famous people. It just I think it just so I just wouldn't. I have to explain that the problem, okay. And most of what makes this documentary so unique is that it's probably the first ever really to try to offer a solution to fix it instead of just mitigation. I mean, I have not watched a documentary where where what they try to propose what I propose. It's always the renewable energy, mitigation, adaptation, and like that. And so and have you seen it? The sample of client works. Found by I think two Swedish entrepreneur. I think Bill Gates was involved too. And I think they raised about $700 million. And the best they can do now is that machine, 4,000 ton per year. It's the state of the art right now. And but my vision, because I originally come from Silicon Valley technology, is that I think that like I said in the document, the great thing about it's that it does work. It removes the CO2 from the atmosphere, from the air, and it's sequestered underground. And it's through a chemical process, and it's non-polluting because it's used at the thermal geopower in Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
The needs improvement. I think the pros about is that it's very expensive. It's $1,100 per ton right now, and it needs it needs to come down to with competition. Many other startups. I think that the scale at the many other stuff, not just them. That the cost would come down to less than 100, even $10 per ton. You remember the cellular phone in the 80s? That scene with the Wall Street, Michael Douglas holding the cellular phone walking on the beach? But that was a few $1,000 phone. Now it's like $50 or less. So I think that
it's so much more powerful. The phones today are completely unlike anything from even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We have about 50 people watching right now. I would encourage any of you who are watching to ask a question there in the chat, and ask a question about the movie, which is forthcoming. Ask a question about the producer, James Nguyen, who is currently in Vietnam, which is where he's from.
And you can watch it for free online right now. But just type climate fix or movie head picture James, and you'll see it.
Right. Climate fix. And Pauline has shared the link with anybody who's watching. So it's there in the live chat. Anybody wants to catch up. It's an 18.5-minute movie. So James, you mentioned you're in Vietnam right now.
Yes.
And what would you say is the primary sentiment about climate change there? Do people understand that it's?
Yes, I think perhaps I think it's kind of like I think that not all. I think a percentage is more. A large percentage don't understand. They just see they don't understand the what's causing all this, and but I think those percentage do understand, but the harms of climate change are here in Vietnam because it's like New York, Manhattan. It's at sea level, and there's flooding right now. Where it come toward end of September and October, it's flood season, and so I experienced last year when I was the same time here, where it's like I'm staying right now in Vinh Long, Vietnam. So it's a little city south of Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, about 70 kilometer. And last year, the flooding was so high that it was like Venice. I mean, the whole town was flooded, and that has never happened. I've been here many times. That has never happened, So it's like Venice in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And the extreme, caused by the extreme typhoon, monsoon, caused by the heat of the ocean, it makes the monsoon and typhoon extreme, and the water will flood the city, and this is all across Vietnam, South Vietnam now, and so they are, so climate change is really the people here have suffered, already. It's not just the wildfire, but here it's more the floods.
Okay, so and that's the primary symptom that you're seeing is the floods.
Yes. I mean, I was walking, the water is, on my feet. I mean, it's really high. I was, so that's the main thing for now. But I think the wildfire will come later on when more of the inland, when things get hotter, It's
Right.
already hot here. The climate here, it's like Hawaii tropical, but it's very hot. And and uh, and I think that things will get worse. It's getting worse every year. I mean, I'm from California and Hollywood and San Francisco, and what's happening in Canada, and recently with all the endless wildfire, massively, then the smoke drifting down to western, eastern. I mean, United States, New York, even Vermont, where you are, and so we had that experience 2-3 years ago nearby. Because there's like Santa Cruz, even now there's a lot of vegetation, and so it's burning, and the smoke would drip down to the San Francisco Bay Area. I guess the worst just like a scene in Pandemic 3, the sky turned orange for like 1 or 2 days, just like a scene of a movie, and so I mean that when the sky turned orange, I think a few years back when I was looking out, it really just sealed my kind of like believe that climate change is here for real. I mean, prior to that, it was kind of like I believe that that's harming, but it was kind of like something far away 50 years from now in the news, in the movies, until I saw that sky turning orange and the smoke, and it was just like, this is no longer a movie, a dream. It's here, and I started to really do a lot of research, more of the technical aspect, like what you do, but more layman's. But what got me is less, you hear in the news all the time, 1.5 Celsius and all that. But what makes me more interested is the ppm, because you can actually see it, and there's a site now. I think it measures the ppm, the parts per million. I think it's in Hawaii. Yeah, that look at right, yeah, and you can go to it, see in real time.
Yeah. Pauline says we have some questions. Do you want to tell us what those are?
Well, Tennessee Judd sent $5. That was very nice.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Tennessee. There's a couple of questions about what's going to be first. What the bet is on whether it's going to be an economic collapse or a climate collapse, or will they happen at the same time? And how does one trigger the other?
Well, I think Guy, I think I have my answer, but I think Guy is probably more precise answer to that. But my prediction is that when as the ppm increases, the parts per million, just for the audience to understand, it's kind of like a gauge, a meter that the Guy and other climate scientists use to measure the level of CO2 in the atmosphere. And when you watch the documentary, I should explain more clearly, but right now it's pretty high. It's at 420 ppm. It's increasing 2 ppm per year. And as the ppm increase, the temperature rise, everything's going to get worse. The heat, the storm, like Guy mentioned many times, the lost ability to grow food insecurity and all that. The heat thing, so it's going to cause collapse of the economic system in general, civilization, and as the year pass, here the next my I think opinion is that really we have 10 years. Really, I mean, Guy, I think it's even faster because I think he feels the pulse more with the ice, the North Pole and the South Pole. But I just sense that it's going to be 10 years, just based on the parts per million, and you can count it. It's like a clock.
Right.
And
it's not as if either one of us wants this to happen.
Yes.
Next year.
I know we want, and that's what I tried to do with Climate Fix, is that instead of dwelling on the end doomsday, I try to offer a solution. And these guys, I was impressed that they dare to do like that. And it's look at it as kind of like a prototype. Silicon Valley High Tech, it's a proof of concept. It cost $700 million to build, and it works. But now we gotta scale it, make it cheap, and many other startup, and we gotta get the whole world, like a big Manhattan Project, like that film Oppenheimer, but bigger. bigger project, man, project, and make it cheap. Yeah, so cheap that every nation does, the whole planet. Hundreds of thousands, millions of machines like that, and the whole planet just start sucking the CO2 out of the air and sequester underground. And then we have to do it, with the pace, based on the PPM, the pace we're doing. We have to remove at least 1 trillion to 2 trillion tons per year. I mean, we have to remove at least 1 trillion to 2 trillion tons in the next 10 years. So it means 100 to 100 billion tons per year. Okay, and in order to do that, you need hundreds of thousands million machine like that to do it and scale it. And I think that can be done. I mean, it's just I'm still scratching my head. I mean, it's like, why we're not doing it? Why is that the United Nations, the COP conference, why not that's on the agenda? Make an effort instead of nothing. It's just a year. I'm off all the effort they've done, the mitigation, just like in the document I mentioned, mitigation, adaptation, and even reparation last year. But let's put some, and they started talking because the planet keep heating up in this, and there's a complaint. I think last year, even Al Gore said that the COP conference is losing its credibility because there's no fix. They said all this measure, and but there's no there's no tangible feeling of fixing anything. The crisis. And so why don't they put the climate change kind of agenda in it and just start doing something? And I'm not, I think even and get everybody to join and start moving. Start with a billion ton per year. And things get so cheap now, and we get 10, 20, 30 ton per year, 20, 30 billion ton per year, and we'll get to 100. And when we get to 100, we're moving in the right direction. And I asked you twice in the doc, and I was, I was very happy to hear that based on your knowledge and expertise, that you say that if that happened, that yes, you said that we will get back the normal weather, right? The garden of paradise.
Right. And let me respond to that question. I think it's from you, Jed. I don't know which is going to happen first at the planet level.
Yes.
However, at the local and regional level, both of these things are already happening. There's economic collapse in various places around the world. It's already underway. And there is climate collapse in various places around the world. There are many places that are no longer habitable by humans because the climate has changed so rapidly and so much to such a degree. So in some places it's already underway. When will it be complete, and what will cause it to be complete? I don't know. And I don't think any of us wants that to happen.
Yes. I think yeah, you're right. I think it's it's just human nature, civilization is that we're not going to do anything to fix it until there's a catastrophe, disaster, like the wildfire or something massive bad happening that's going to cause the disruption to economic as long as right now at this minute we can still breathe the air, we still drive the car, we can still do. There's no massive movement to really fix this thing. There's a cancer, but the clock is ticking, and that's what made me inspire me, really moved me to make this loyal short doc to say let's do it. I mean the leaders of the world, the European Union, United States, everybody, China, other Asia country, let's do something.
At this point, there's no reason not to, because if we're not willing to spend the money, then what that means, we're committing ourselves to our own extinction. Yes,
and I know there's a lot of protests like Extinction and NBL, they going after the oil company and all that, but to me, it's just part of civilization. These guys, they with their money and their wealth, they can help us build the carbon removal machine. Yeah, the influence. So my point is that instead of attacking, spend so much resource attacking, protesting, disrupting, it's not going to change anything. Why not appeal to them? Hey, you're polluting, you're selling oil, fossil. why not take some of that money, and donate to this climate fix fund, trillions, everybody, and start just sucking the air out, sucking the CO2 out and sequester underground. I think that's a better way to approach, and I think you can protest all that, but there comes a point where it don't matter. It's not going to fix anything. And my thing right now is that I'm praying and hoping that maybe my little doc here would start a movement, someone more influence, like you or rich people or people in power, that they start doing something, moving toward in a massive way, instead of just still, kind of like in the news, a nice doc to have. Oh yeah, that client work looks nice, $600-700 million for that. And it's just kind of like a thing to do. That's it. There's no serious movement. There's no we need that. We need a Manhattan Project for climate fix 10 times what they did with the atomic bomb.
Right.
And because it was just United States here, we need the entire planet. And I think that if there's seriously move like that, whatever, building facility research, and instead of this $1,100 per ton, this Orca thing, they made better whatever other process kept whatever, and everybody has it, and they just and it's in Silicon Valley, these startup, they're going to get excited because they will be paying hundreds of trillions of dollars to do this. And why is it that it has not inspired a movement or an industry? Because all the startup, I've seen a lot of them in like the green high tech Silicon Valley. It's kind of like a mitigation effort and making money, but they never really. There's no really fix. The only one that's why I put in this doc is client work. But it's and then there's a few others like carbon engineering. I think it's in the United States, but that's just a few, and we need many more. And it should be in the news. The climate fix project or whatever. And this country is donating that rich guy or organization, or Shell Oil is donate $10 billion into the climate fix, and start to we see a meet instead of kind of like 420 ppm, we should see some kind of site where we see the CO2 reduction, removal in billions. Yeah.
Right. I'm reminded of a line from Kurt Vonnegut. I'm going to have to paraphrase here.
Yes.
Something like, we'll go down in history as the only society that wouldn't save itself because we were too damn cheap.
Yeah.
Just didn't get the money. Are you kidding me? But this time the odds are really, really stacked against us, and
yes.
stakes are as high as they could possibly be. We're talking about this time when this civilization collapses because of the loss of aerosol masking that will result. The rapid rate of environmental change destines all or nearly all life on Earth to extinction. Do we want that to be our person? I don't think so.
No, yes, and I think that this by releasing my short climate fix, and I think that I'm going to start a nonprofit organization called Climate Fix. Okay, and really try. It's a lobbying organization, and basically lobby the government of the world, not just the United States, but to get the United Nations really to get them to put climate fix on the agenda. Okay, and just start so do the mitigation, do the adaptation and reparation, but at right now this year or even worse next year at climate fix and start moving, and so that I think so that I know you don't want to hear me to say this, but my thing is that there's it's human psychology. We want optimistic. We don't want to hear doomsday. Yeah, we know things like that. We don't doomsday all the time. But just psychologically affects the psyche. Okay, and there's hope that might lead to the impossible dream. The impossible made possible by way of removing these, billions of tons. And there's a clock right now, 10 years, really, and we have to move. And because I have a stepson in Vietnam. He's a really cute kid. His name is Nguyen, and I want him to grow up and have a long life. I live a life. I'm 57. I want him to live longer than me. And
Right.
that's why I want hope. I want climate fix. I want this because I'm willing to accept 10 years with the way things are rolling right now. And I hope that my little dog will,
Right.
Inspire somebody to do something bigger than me.
Right. Speaking of something bigger than you, there is a project, Mirrors for.
Well, I mean,
Earth's-
smaller than me. I mean, I'm not big. I'm just a inspired to someone to do the climate fix.
Right.
Yes.
There's an organization called Mirrors for Earth's Energy Rebalancing. You can find them at meer.org, and we'd love to have you collaborate with them because they are very interested in creating a series of mirrors, mirrors that will reflect the sunlight back up into space before it warms the planet. But they need to do more, and they know that they need to do more, that we need to change the set of living arrangements if we are going to survive this event.
Yes, and I'm all for the mirror. I'm familiar with. I've seen your interview with Dr. What's his, he's from Harvard, Professor Harvard. What was his name, the guy?
Dr. Ye Tao.
Yeah. And I'm all for that. I've seen that, and I think it's great. And I think it's part of the mitigation effort. Reducing the heat that is coming from the sun to Earth. But it's mitigation. It's great. Like in the doc I mentioned, I'm all for the mitigation effort. Right. But my point here, the urgency here is that it will not fix anything. You mentioned many times the cancer. It's right up there right now. And right now we gotta move now. Everybody.
We have to do
Yes. I think everything. The mitigation will sustain it. Will help things, but it will not fix it. And my highest priority in terms of communicating is the removal up there. Once you get fixed right, and plus the mitigation effort, the better the lifestyle that you even mentioned. But I just call it general mitigation, lifestyle, the renewal and all that combined. Then we'll fix this problem, in the short term. But we're not doing any of that. This thing. I mean, it's right now. It's 4,000 tons per year. That machine, it's operating right now. They sell it $1,100 per ton. You can go and buy. You can go buy. You can remove 1,000 tons of CO2 right now on the website for $1,100. Okay, help contributing, and it's not. I mean, it's a proof of concept, Silicon Valley style, at $700 million. Okay, and I think that we need to take that and make it better, fast, and start just everywhere. In Vermont, I'm sure there's an energy station, power station. Okay, every place there's thousands of energy stations everywhere. Anytime there's a place to stay, a power station, there should be a machine like that that removes the CO2, a mini, all over the world. And when that happened, I think that psychologically would change our thinking, and there's a pace to it. There's a clock, and we can do that. I think we'll and we can 100 to 200 billion tons per year by 10 years from now, 2033, and at least 1 trillion tons, and we'll everything we back. I mean, most of it, and we won't be talking climate change. It's fixed, but it's climate fixed. But after that, there's going to be a climate fix too, a space elevator, okay, and that's going to release probably next year, where even if we achieve what I just proposed in my doc, we fixed it. We removed that cancer up there, the 2.4 trillion, or even a trillion. If we get fixed, okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
We have
Sorry to interrupt. We have a
we have
question.
a good question here. Professor McPherson, I wonder what you thought about the proposal to have 2,000 ships sailing around the world by remote control, pumping seawater into the sky and creating a reflective spray. This is from Schultze 100.
Right. This is called marine cloud brightening, and it was first proposed in the peer-reviewed literature in 1990. And the primary problem with marine cloud brightening is that the positive effect would be very short-lived. It will require an enormous amount of energy to have those ships pumping seawater into the atmosphere, and the impact will be very short-lived. So I think this still falls under the category of we have to do everything all at once.
Yes.
Or the
yes, and you're right, Guy. The thing what gets me, because I come from Silicon Valley originally, is that with the direct air capture, with client work, is that it does it at a pace that's gonna that will fix this problem. All the other efforts I've seen, using the planting tree, or even the ocean that you just mentioned, it's just too slow, especially the tree part of it. Planting trees all over the world to suck the CO2, or with other means, re-engineering the atmosphere, or spraying salt. It may screw it up. So almost, yes, do everything, but the one that really gets me in terms of the clock, the timing, the 10-year clock right now, is direct air capture, and just pure brute force, money, trillions of dollars. We have the technology. It may be kind of expensive, but within 6 months, it's just like the COVID crisis. We had a vaccine within 12 months. We've been down to $10 per ton, and just start rolling, moving. And we do that, we have this thing fixed. That's why I just propose one, because I see it as something that can be fixed at, it's like there's a game. It's like a game, and you have 10 years, and you get removed certain amount, and you have your paradise back, the garden paradise. If you don't remove at least 1 trillion ton, you're going to have the end of civilization.
Right.
And that's why I just focus that. And I think the mirror project, I think that's all great, but it's all. But the problem is that it will not fix it in time. It's not even fixing it; it's just mitigation. And
right.
That's why the thing it's called climate fix. The word FIX, fix it, and that's not in the agenda. It's not even an agenda. And the UN conference, whatever, they have to put it in, and they start talking. How much money? Let's start spending. Let's start action, like in the movie business. We say, action, rolling, and start moving. We found the CO2, being sucked out from the atmosphere and sequestered underground. All these machines, and I wish that is happening right now at the UN, the COP 28.
Right.
Thank you to John Coviello for sending $4.99.
Thank you, John Coviello. And Tennessee Jed for the earlier donation, and thank everybody for watching and commenting. There's a lot of chat in the chat room about methane, and yes, methane is a significant problem too.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
Senior Mentor says be sure to hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Also share Climate Fix with your friends. It's an 18.5-minute movie that demonstrates how we can make some progress towards fixing this climate emergency. So Climate Fix, look for it on YouTube. Please watch it. Any final parting words, James?
Yeah, well, again, I want to thank you for letting me interview you for the document short, and thank all the people attending this live interview in the chat. I just want to say that to you, Elaine, and your, your subscriber, and basically everybody really, all nation, the United Nations, leaders of the world, that let us, implement climate fix now, so that we get back the normal weather and the garden of paradise. Thank you.
Right. Thank you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you, James. I appreciate the opportunity to chat today on camera. And thanks for everybody, about 100 people now logged on, paying attention. Please spread the word. Time is short. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And now we're going to stop recording.